In the long history of warfare, there is one crime that is universally regarded as the ultimate betrayal of trust. It is not desertion. It is not cowardice in battle. It is the act of falling asleep on guard duty. To sleep on post is to gamble with the lives of every man in your unit. It was December 1944. The Battle of the Bulge was raging just to the north, and General George S. Patton's Third Army was executing an impossible 90-degree turn to rescue the besieged city of Bastogne. The troops were exhausted. Men were freezing, sleep-deprived, and mentally broken. But for Patton, exhaustion was no excuse for dereliction of duty. On a freezing night outside Luxembourg City, Patton did something unusual. He decided to conduct his own inspections. He drove his Jeep, unannounced, to the forward outposts. He wanted to ensure that while the army slept, they were truly protected. As his Jeep rolled silently into a secluded area, its headlights off, Patton stepped out. He walked toward a sentry box manned by a lone private. There, huddled in his coat, his rifle lying on the frozen ground beside him, the sentry was fast asleep. This wasn't just a failure of a soldier. To Patton, this was a failure of the military system. Patton viewed guard duty with almost religious reverence. He once wrote that vigilance was the first virtue of a soldier. If a sentry falls asleep, the enemy flows past them, and an entire army can be destroyed in hours. Patton didn't wake the man immediately. He did something far more terrifying. He quietly picked up the soldier's rifle. He took the soldier's helmet and tucked it under his own arm. Then, Patton stood over the sleeping man, blocking out the starlight, waiting. He didn't speak a word. He simply stood there with that icy, four-star stare that had broken colonels and generals alike. It took 5 minutes. Imagine that terror. Waking from a deep sleep, perhaps dreaming of home, only to look up and see the legendary Old Blood and Guts himself, standing over you like a wrathful ghost, holding your weapon. When the soldier opened his eyes, he supposedly let out a gasp of raw terror. He realized he was unarmed, uncovered, and facing the army's most feared commander. "I ought to shoot you myself," Patton said, his voice quiet but full of a chilling menace. "You are not a soldier. You are a vulnerability. You are an invitation to death." What Patton did next is where the history becomes legend. Many generals would have immediately court-martialed the man, a process that could end in execution. But Patton understood psychology. He didn't want a dead soldier. He wanted a soldier who would never forget. He ordered the sentry to strip out of his uniform, leaving him in only his long underwear in the freezing cold. He made the soldier stand at attention, barefoot on the ice, for 20 minutes, while Patton lectured him on the philosophy of discipline. "Your life is meaningless to me right now," Patton told him, "but the lives of the 10,000 men sleeping behind you mean everything. While I am commander, no single man's comfort will compromise the security of the Third Army." After the lecture, when the soldier was shaking uncontrollably, Patton handed him back his rifle. He didn't lock him up. He sent him back to his original post, but demoted him instantly to the rank of private basic and ordered that his pay be docked for 3 months. Patton then declared that if he found the man asleep again, he would ensure the man was given the death penalty by firing squad. This incident defines the ruthless pragmatism of George Patton. Many viewed this punishment as cruel and unusual. Others argued that given the extreme stress of the Bulge, a little compassion was warranted. But Patton didn't trade in compassion. He traded in results. This single act sent a shockwave through that entire regiment. Within hours, everyone knew what had happened. They knew the general was out there, in the dark, watching. Dereliction of duty vanished in that sector overnight. Men drank more coffee, they paced more furiously, and they stayed awake. Patton's methods were often extreme, but they generated an intense vigilance. He knew that the only thing stronger than exhaustion Was the fear of old blood and guts standing over you in the snow. He broke one soldier, but in doing so, he may have saved thousands. What would you have done? Was this effective leadership or just abuse of power? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to hear more stories of Patton's brutal methods of command, hit that like button and subscribe for more.